What's going on, everybody? I had to look at what camera I'm looking at here. My name is Ken Posick. You guys are here hanging out. This is the Content Lab. And so I'm shooting a video today for people that are watching live, yes, but then also we've got 21 people watching live already. What's going on? Make sure you drop your comments down below as we kind of go throughout this. But I thought today what I'm going to talk about is specifically our content schedule. And I'm happy to answer questions about YouTube and email marketing and social media in general. But what I want to do is just kind of walk through what our average week looks like and how much production we put out, because a lot of people think, oh, you just throw up a video on YouTube and then from that you're just going to get hundreds of leads. We do get hundreds of leads every single month, and yet at the same time we have really a whole system and process behind this. So I think it'd be really helpful for you to hear kind of what we do on a weekly basis, break this down for you guys. And then as you have questions, please drop them down below. If you already have those, I can kind of bring them in and bring you into the conversation along the way. And so a few things, I'm here in my studio. This is actually in my office. We built out the studio really just for content creation, so we can kind of put out a lot more content, get our name and our brand out there as much as possible, become the concierge of all things Orlando, and kind of go from there. And so here's kind of what our weekly schedule looks like right now in terms of how much content that we're putting out. So every Thursday, I'll start there because that's really what kind of starts all of this. On Thursday mornings, I sit down right here and I typically shoot 5 or 6 individual shorts. These are just me looking at the camera, kind of bouncing around. Sometimes I bring in another screen like this or different angles, but either way, I'm going to shoot some content directly like this and talk about the news, what's going on in Orlando. What you have to decide as a content creator, and if you are in business, I think everybody should either be doing content creation or have somebody on their team that is a content creator. You have to decide who's your ideal audience. That's like number one. For us, it's everybody who's interested in anything Orlando, theme parks, real estate, or moving here, or maybe if you already live here, then all of the other stuff kind of matters to you as well. And so I think a lot of agents, the way that maybe they go a little wrong is creating content for other agents. So you see a lot of people sitting down and they're like, when I first started my business, here's everything that I did. And you can tell they're either fishing for because they want to be a real estate influencer or they want agent referrals. That's fine. That's just not what we do. So I sit down here and I pick 4 or 5 stories from the news, and I just use the Orlando Business Journal. I just Google Orlando, Florida, go through the news, and I'll spend an hour just grabbing articles. And I'll spend that time so that way when I look through the articles, I can shoot it and say, today, actually, Disney increased their minimum wage to $18 an hour. And here's how that's going to affect people locally and how they live. And so we shoot those individually, and then I send that off. Now we have an in-house editor that does this now for us, all short form. But before, I was using somebody that we found online. Just you can go to Upwork, you can go to Fiverr. They'll edit it down for you. It's going to be a lot cheaper than hiring somebody full time. But there comes some, it's misspellings. They don't really know who you are. You're one of 50 other clients of theirs. So you don't really get in a good rhythm with somebody, which is why we eventually brought somebody in-house. So Thursdays, I sit down, I shoot 4 or 5 shorts for the upcoming week. And I'll kind of show you what that looks like. So over on my Instagram here, these are kind of all different ones that I did. So right here, me talking to the camera right in this office. I had some other shorts that we used when I interviewed the mayor. But you look at a lot of these, some of these are getting 10,000, 21,000, 23,000, 13,000, 14,000, 49,000. They're getting a lot of views. And the crazy thing about that is that they're very hyper local kind of views, people that actually care about the highest sale in Orlando, people that care about the newest stuff happening in the area. And so to me, those views are worth more. And we're starting to now, we've been doing this strategy for 60 days. We're starting to now get a lot more leads from Instagram, which is really cool. So that's what I do in the morning on Thursdays, shoot those shorts. In the midday, I actually go out and I meet with my videographer, and we have a whole day plan, typically 2-3 hours of shooting long form content for my YouTube channel. And so that's going to be kind of like the posted, edited, more beautiful kind of one that's going to post up on Tuesdays. And then on Thursday night, I go live right here in the studio. I typically have a guest who's an agent on my team, and we talk about the news of the day. We talk about the news of Orlando. We do a real estate deep dive. And Vanessa asked a question. She said, after the hour spent pulling articles, how long does it take you to film these? I typically time block 90 minutes. And so if you read an article, you can pretty much talk about it. You don't need to be an expert. You don't need to script it out. It's just like, hey, retelling a story to like a friend, right? Like, so, hey, I found this Orlando Business Journal article that this is what's going over on UCF. There's $15 million that's now been allocated for their new program, blah, 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 right? You don't have to really scripted. It doesn't really need to take too long. It works really well. And then so Thursday nights I go live, and I typically have, like last night I had a couple hundred people watching live on the studio, just listening to my partner Lindsay and I, who I had on last night, talk about real estate, talk about Orlando, and they ask questions. They typically are asking hundreds of questions, which is amazing. It's really good interaction. And then we take that, and then going back over to Instagram, you can see the ones where I'm actually wearing headphones here. You're a mom of 3 right here, it shows, or sometimes down here, I'm taking clips from that live, and I'm just ripping those clips and putting it up over on my Instagram. That, along with the Thursday morning stuff, so basically my Thursday morning where I'm shooting just for Instagram and TikTok, and in the afternoon when I go live talking to my audience, between those two, we can typically pull out 10 to 14 pieces of short form content every single week. And so it doesn't take a lot of time on my part to do this. So Thursday is my content day. It's where I've committed to every Thursday, never missing. And then on Saturday, we have basically an email newsletter that goes out. And this is what the email newsletter looks like. I committed to showing, kind of being a little bit more transparent with some of this stuff. So this is what the email newsletter looks like. It's our video of the week right there. And then we have 3 contract writers who write for our team now. They're not on staff. They just kind of write anywhere between 8 and 10 different articles about new stuff coming to the area. And then we put it in the newsletter here. And I'll talk about the podcast next. But it goes out, and this now goes out to 26,000 people. We have almost a 40% open rate. We have a lot of people clicking through. Down at the bottom, it says, if you're looking to buy or sell a house, here's kind of how you get a hold of our team. But really, it doesn't matter if you're looking to do that today or not. What we want to do is provide you with so much value for free for the next 10 years until you are ready to do something. And then you're going to be remembering us, because that's what we do. So that goes out on Saturdays. Nothing on Sunday. And then on Monday morning, we take the audio from that live I told you that I do on Thursday nights, and we turn that into a podcast. It's actually really simple to do. You just download it from YouTube, or you download it from StreamYard, which is what I'm using to go live with you guys right now. You can just download the audio version of that live, and then we cut off the ends a little bit. We add an intro and outro. This whole process takes literally 10 minutes. And then I upload it over to Spotify for podcasters. It used to be called Anchor. They just rebranded. Spotify bought them. And so you can upload it here. And then this actually disseminates it out to Apple Music or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, Amazon. Like it's 7 or 8 different ones, to where your podcast can now make it out to everybody. Okay. And that goes into our email as well, like I showed you. And the reason why I do that is because if somebody's going to listen to me in their ears for 30 to 45 minutes, they're pretty well bought in at that point. And so to me, it's exciting to be able to do this with people and just kind of get in a different medium. And then Tuesday, we take that video that I shot midday on Thursday, that goes live up on our YouTube channel. So I'll show you kind of the back end of our YouTube channel. We got 36,000 subscribers now, something like 5.5 million views. Yeah, I mean, this is where we get a ton of our business from, is our YouTube channel. And so we post every single Tuesday. I never miss going up on Tuesday. And it's everything from our buckets are really a few different things. It's kind of like showing off new areas. That's what this packing district is. Sometimes I do like a this versus that. So it's like, hey, the west side of town versus the east side of town. This one got, 11,000 views. Pretty good. I interviewed the mayor. We've done like luxury tours. This is another area tour. You can kind of start to see it kind of repeats itself over and over. I've got a luxury home tour here, a luxury home tour here, and everything in between is showing off new areas. My strategy for content creation on YouTube is really just me being a concierge for the area. And if people are going to Google something, these are going to come up. YouTube is the second largest SEO, and then also it's a search engine, and then it's also going to help you a ton on actual Google SEO. And so when people are searching moving to Dallas, moving to Seattle, moving to LA, moving to Orlando, I pop up, right? And so you can do that in your own hometown. And many of the questions that people ask, and thanks for some people starting to chime in over on the right. That's awesome. I'll definitely get to all of your questions or comments. When people ask me like, hey, do I have a big enough town to do something like you do? You do. I don't care if you live in the smallest little town. I don't care if everybody's leaving and you're just the last holdout. There's going to be people looking at your content. And it's a really great cost-effective way to earn business. And here's the beautiful thing is I get anywhere, check my analytics real quick. My analytics are a little down this past month. Obviously, interest rates and that sort of thing drives a lot of this. But I got 100,000 views in the last 28 days. I had 8.4 thousand hours of watch time. And so think about that. I don't even know how many hours there are in a month. But let's see. 24 hours in a day. There's 672 actual hours in a month or in 28 days, which is their cycle. So that's every single day I can fit in 12 full days worth of content in front of somebody. It's a physical impossibility that I would actually be in front of people talking that much if I didn't have video. And so if you don't understand content marketing, that is the thing. Scale is the thing that we're all after. And again, by all accounts, my channel is actually pretty small. 36,000 subscribers is not like crushing it at all in terms of like overall YouTube. But for real estate, for a very niche product, when I've got 36,000 people that care about what I have to say about Orlando, that's huge. That's a huge, huge opportunity. And so even 1,000 people that care about what you have to say about your local area will make you an expert and will bring you a lot of business, more business than most people can handle in one go around. I now have a team of over 30 people, from staff members and agents and that sort of thing. And so that's the only way that I'm able to handle all of the leads and inflow that we have going on. So Arturo Cruz asks, so again, what platform am I using right now? Your Saturday email as well. What platform do I use? So I use StreamYard. This is StreamYard right here. This allows me to go live on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitch all at the same time if I want. I don't do Twitch, but that's an option. It's great. Riverside FM is another one that's a competitor of theirs. You could check that one out too. But I've been using StreamYard for a really long time, and it works really well. Michael asks, do I use contract writers to make the blog posts too? I sure do. Yeah. So I've got contract writers they send in all of the information, and then my marketing team here on staff, they're the ones who actually put it in, make sure that it's SEO optimized, put that in the email and push it out. Yeah. So Jen asks, with boomers now being the largest buying and selling demographic, would I ever do a series on just 55? Yeah, definitely. Those condos by Beazer and Lake Nona are actually phenomenal. I mean, they were slow for people to adopt because it kind of feels like you're on an island over there, but it's a great area. I've got a friend of mine who just does 55 and older, and he does it all over Florida. And he basically just does the content and then footballs. He quarterbacks the leads to his agent partners or referral partners, depending on what area he's in. So it works really, really well. So 55 and older is something we're definitely going to get into more. Bobby says, what metrics do you convince me to go live on Thursdays versus the weekend? Bobby, the only metric that I used to choose Thursday instead of the weekends was that I missed my family on the weekends. I was spending half a day, researching, going live, doing show notes afterwards and stuff like that. And it got to be a lot. If I could pop in and only have it be an hour and then leave, maybe that would be better. But I just committed to my family that I wouldn't work the weekends anymore. And so I chose Thursday nights. I said, hey, if I work basically 8 to 8 on Thursdays, but I never worked on the weekends, would you guys be okay with that? And my family bought in, and it's been really good for us. All right, let's keep going on. So Mondays, my podcast goes live. Tuesdays, we post the video on YouTube. And then Wednesdays, we have a second email go out. And so we do 2 emails every single week. And again, that's a lot for people, right? We're posting twice a day on Instagram. We're doing 2 email newsletters. We're doing 2 YouTube videos. We're doing a podcast. It seems massively overwhelming, which if you tried to do it all at once, it would be. But I started 4 years ago, just me, my cell phone, and putting up 1 video a week. And that turned into getting more and more leads, more and more referrals, more business for my sphere, more agents wanting to join my team. And now we've built out what equates to a media company that happens to sell real estate. And you don't have to do all of that. You can do some of that. You pick out one thing and it will change your business. But being out there and not being a commodity is what's going to, for us, change our business. Yep. What website does my friend host? He uses YouTube. I think it's Explore 55 Plus. This is but he works. All right, so I've been riffing for 15 minutes or so. That's our content strategy. We do some repurposing now. We have started looking at, okay, what stuff is actually performing, and is there some ways that we can retarget our clients around the internet? And so that's something that we've just now started, and it's actually done really well for us. We use Real Estate Webmasters as our website now. They're not cheap, but for me, they have great SEO and it works really, really well for us. And so what I typically do is we put an article up. If we see that it's performing, I will follow around our 26,000 people that follow us or are subscribed to our newsletter. I have their emails, I have their data. And so I can kind of break it down a little bit and say, okay, based on these people would probably like this article. And if they didn't open the email, then they're going to see it on Facebook. And we're going to sort of start to follow them around the internet to where they see us everywhere. And that's actually been really, really good for us. And so overall, all of this has now brought us about anywhere between 500 and 650 leads per month. And they're not Zillow leads, they're not Realtor.com leads, they're not Facebook leads. They're people that like our content and then reach out to buy or sell. And so now we're scaling the team. And so that's probably the last piece I'll tell you about this is that in the stories on Instagram, on my personal Instagram, I'm constantly talking about my team because I do have an amazing team, people that I could not do any of this stuff without. And so I'm constantly giving them credit and then asking people, hey, if you're looking to kind of be part of the culture that we're creating and this kind of juggernaut that we're creating, reach out. And I did this last week. I had 23 agents, local agents who follow me that reached out that were like, hey, I'm considering a team. I'd love to consider, joining you. Probably only 2 or 3 of those are going to be people we would consider hiring. And that's totally fine. Better than cold calling agents from the MLS and saying like, oh, I noticed you did a deal over here. Congratulations. Can we sit down for a business consult? And that whole process, which to me is not fun. I'd much rather attract people to join my team and attract clients to work with us. That's kind of what our whole business model has been built around. So Vanessa asks, how do I track the source of my marketing leads? If somebody calls in or emails, how do I identify where they came from so that you can spend time and resources in the right places? That's an amazing question. I think that tracking is massively under appreciated in our business. Any business owner who tells you, I don't know where the lead came from, there's ways around it. So for us, for example, for our YouTube channel, we have info@positgroup.com. The only way that anybody ever emails that inbox is that if it's from YouTube, because that's the only place I ever put it. And so if it comes into our inside sales team and it comes from info@positgroup.com, whether or not they say, hey, I've been following Ken on YouTube for the past 3 years, now I'm ready to buy or not, we know that that's a YouTube lead. Everybody else is coming through our funnels through our website, so we can see and track, did they come and click from Instagram and then came through and looked for homes and then came through and signed up. But a lot of times we get stuff DM'd to us like, hey, I've been following you here on Instagram for a really long time. I'd love to buy or love to sell. So we track all of that, and we have a whole Google spreadsheet that goes along with our closings, and we track that with how many leads that we have coming through and figure out where should we be leaning in and doing more content. Big one. So Harris Group says, what are your strategies to convert YouTube leads that aren't obvious? I don't know what aren't obvious might mean. So maybe you can kind of clarify that for me a little bit. Bobby says, if and when TikTok were banned, would you go heavy on Reels or Shorts? More on Shorts. We're not doing much on Shorts for YouTube yet. I want to. It's just that's kind of like our next thing. We take our Instagram videos and post them on TikTok, but I don't create TikTok specific content right now. I'm really just going hard after your Instagram. And I went from 7,000 followers to 12,500 followers in the past 3 months. So it's starting to work. Our strategy, again, it's been probably 60 days that we've been really consistent posting. And so because of that, we're starting to get more followers and then more leads. Harris Group, I'd love to answer your question if you want to let me know a little bit more content strategy, what you're talking about there. So beyond that, what other questions do you guys have about YouTube? I know I've talked about YouTube ad nauseum in other classes before, so I don't want to dig in too much on strategy there. But really just figuring out who your ideal client is going to be the number one thing there. And then the massive consistency behind it is something that a lot of agents just do not do. They don't slow down and figure out like, okay, my first video bombed, but why is that, right? You're watching some of the graphs on the analytics and saying, okay, people are falling off after 20 seconds. My intro is probably garbage, right? Using those analytics to your favor and making sure that you understand that they just don't lie. And so you don't have your feelings hurt. You don't have to say, hey, I created this amazing video and nobody watched it, right? It's not the algorithm's fault. It's not YouTube's fault. It's our fault as creators. So how can we get better at being a better creator by having better thumbnails, better titles, and better videos? Vanessa asks again, thanks. You mentioned that through your website, you can see if someone clicked from Instagram. I believe you maybe used Brivity before. we're used to be able to do this in Brivity, and what we currently use. So yeah, we couldn't be as niche with Brivity, but you can say, if somebody comes through a specific website, it'll show you where their origin was, and Brivity does do that. And so that's a really easy way to say, if you have a specific website set up for Instagram leads, for YouTube leads, for open house leads, right? You should be able to track, where are these people coming from by sending them in a specific way. So maybe it's, vanessahoffer.com/open house, right? And everybody who goes to that URL, Brivity will track, and REW does the same thing. Yeah, Kyle, I would say, so Kyle asks, in particular, what type of video typically converts best for leads? It's really tough because typically don't say, hey, I came here and saw this video and I loved this one video and that's why I'm reaching out. Many times it's, I've been following you for 2 years now, or I've been following you for a year, or I found you on YouTube and I really liked your videos. And so that's why playlists are really important on YouTube, by slowing down and putting categorically like where your people should be watching. If they watch this video and they watch it to the end, what's the next video that automatically plays for them? And if you can get them into that wheelhouse. But I will tell you, the amount of like the views anyways, the ones that get the most views are the ones that I'm researching new areas that people might not know a lot about. So diving into new developments, new neighborhoods coming, all that kind of stuff. Typically give me the most amount of views, and then in that give me the most amount of subscribers. So reverse engineering that, probably the best performing ones for me. All right, so Harris asks, do I use any strategy to generate leads other than asking them to reach out in my videos? No, that's it, man. So, or I guess I shouldn't say man, whoever you are out there. So yeah, we just say, here's what I do in my videos. I don't even say, hey, this is Ken Posick with Keller Williams. I'm just like, hey, I don't even say Ken Posick. It's like, today you're going to learn about the 5 things that are coming to this area and why I think it's most exciting. Number 1 is, and I get right into it. And then typically around mid-roll, right in the middle of the video, asks for a subscription. And then at the end, once I've earned the view, meaning they've watched the whole thing, I've provided value for 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. Once I get all the way into there, that's when I will ask them, hey, by the way, if you're looking to buy or sell a house anywhere in Central Florida, my team want to be your real estate resource of choice. So email me, info@posickgroup.com, and we'll see you guys on the next video. Boom, that's it. And then I'll put that in the description down at the bottom. So if they don't know how to spell my name, or they didn't hear it right, they know exactly how to get a hold of me. Bobby says, most robust websites can generate tracking links for social media platforms as well as your PPC ads for tracking. Yeah, absolutely true. And that, again, we should all be making sure that every dollar or every hour of our time or money that we spend, we can track back to what that actually comes back to in regards to dollar per hour or ROI on your spend. So that's all I had for today. Listen, if you haven't followed me over on Instagram, it's @Ken Posick. Feel free to DM me over there. I do my best to answer every single person with as detailed instructions as possible. But hopefully you like these. I'm going to start doing these at least once a month. The Content Lab, talking about content creation. Next week, or next month rather, I'm going to dive into some creators that I'm a big fan of and why, and how I'm trying to use kind of their strategy in our business, and hopefully give you some value there. But I appreciate you guys. I hope you have an amazing weekend. Thanks for jumping on today. We'll see you soon.